Hey guys, it is time for the SVU After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. We are talking Season 9, Episode 15, Undercover. We heard the fans. We're doing old episodes all summer long. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome to the SVU After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Hit subscribe. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. Subscribe there as well. We are going back to Season 9, Episode 15, Undercover, because you asked for it. Yay!
Hey.
If you want to tweet us live during the show, I'm at Yael Tyiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. I am joined by my lovely, lovely ladies, Lauren Salaun.
Hello, everybody. It is Lauren Salaun here, like she just said. Super excited to be talking about this super old episode. It's going to be really fun. And you guys know where to find me online, everywhere at Lauren Salaun, LAURENSALAUN.
And Isabelle do.
And guys, you can find me everywhere at Isabelle do. I'm super excited. Love oldies, bad goodies, and this is a charmer.
Yeah, before we jump into this amazing episode that was requested by multiple fans, multiple requests for this episode, I want to thank everyone and ask them to remember a few things. We have a hotline for anyone who needs it.
We do. It's the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, and that number is 1-800-656-HOPE, 1-800-656-4673.
Awesome. And this episode, which was really dark and really almost brought me to tears, you know, sometimes issues get serious and we go to a dark place, and the only way to get through the dark place is to make inappropriate jokes. They'll be not bad jokes, but inappropriate jokes. Well, they might be bad.
They could be bad, but
Knowing us,
also
they're not going to be
definitely
funny.
Yeah.
Some will for sure be funny.
You might get a giggle or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the plot, you have asked me to remind us where we are in Season 9. Season 9...
Picture.
Guys, I don't know if you remember Season 9, but this season was only 19 episodes. I have all sorts of fun facts for us. This season, it was 19 episodes total. It was in the midst of the writers' strike.
Oh, yeah.
The 2007 Writers Guild of America strike. So I have some background for us. Executive producer and showrunner Neil Baer was more hands-on in the 9th season. He wrote the episodes for Alternate and Authority. The last episode crediting him as a writer before this was in the 7th season. And multiple episodes this season dealt with the abortion debate openly. And in a 2008 article that criticized American media for avoiding talking about abortion, they said SVU is the one exception willing to take such risks.
Cutting edge, SVU.
Wow.
And this season coincided with the writers' strike because Neil Baer was serving on the negotiation committee. And with all of the writing staff on strike, episodes stopped airing for nearly 3 months after the January 22nd episode, which was inconceivable. Then the next episode was Undercover, this episode, in April of 2008.
Oh, wow. No
Yeah.
wonder it was as like...
Yeah.
As it was.
It was great. And this season got Mariska her second Golden Globe nomination, or SVU the second Golden Globe nomination. I apologize. This is also the season that had Authority with Robin Williams, and Alternate with Cynthia Nixon, and Impulsive with Melissa Joan Hart, and Savant with Aidan Quinn. All
I feel like I need to watch this whole season again.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every episode I was looking through it and I was like, oh, I remember that one was so great. Oh, I remember that one was so great. I love this season. This is also the season that Adam Beach joined as Detective Chester Lake, Ice-T's partner.
Right.
And fun fact about me, this was the season where the episode Avatar taught me the term sexomnia, which is a real condition.
What is that, when you have sex in your sleep?
Yup! Which I remember watching this with my parents going, God, I hope I have that. Yep.
Sexomnia.
Sexomnia, real condition.
That's a kind of a pretty word.
It's real pretty for a real awful thing. Anywho, so that's where we are in Season 9. Also, Olivia, as we may recall, had this is post-meeting Star, what was her name? Star Jones? No. Star, the undercover agent from the FBI, who ended up, her real name is Dana Lois. Star was her name. I forgot her last name.
That's
disappointed
good.
myself.
Nice.
Anyway, so it's past. It was right after we met Star and
Star Morrison.
Thank you, aka Dana Lewis, FBI. And this is after Benson went undercover with tree huggers in Oregon.
Is that the one where the girl died? Like she shot herself?
Yeah. Is it the one where the girl died? Hi, this is Law and Order Special Victims.
Hey, sometimes they don't always die.
Is this the one where someone was raped? Yes. Okay.
Well, she shot herself.
Yeah. So season 9. What a great! It's a really good season.
Randy in the chat's like, they're not that old, these episodes, and which I guess is true. Like it's really not that.
Yeah, but so much has changed.
Yeah, so much
but
has
even
happened
just
since.
watching it, it feels so different. You know, so
especially
old
so this episode starts and it's our normal it's like the old school format of the episodes, right? We start with a victim being discovered.
Right.
The SVU cops find her. We have to figure out who did it. Was it this guy? Was it this guy?
But
you know what I
almost
mean?
not, because it had the undercover component, and because like with the voiceover and stuff, like Wang's voiceover, that was so intense and like not really characteristic.
Which part?
The voiceover stuff
part?
about with like the whole sequence when Mariska's like just getting, and when Liv's just getting
When
into prison.
Wong
Like,
is voicing over. I was like, what are you doing? When he gives her cover.
Yeah.
That was so good.
it was almost a little too dramatic for me. Like that part
dare you.
wasn't like a normal
Right.
episode.
That's true.
I thought the acting was unbelievably
Yes.
because no offense, there's some people who guest star and I feel like they just came out of Theater 101.
Yeah.
And this was like, wow, everybody is like stellar. Like
Yeah.
no wonder they got Mariska got a Golden Globe. But
Yeah.
like even all the guest stars, everyone was on point. Like they came out of Juilliard or something.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great episode.
was
All right, so
really
let's
good.
break down the plot.
Yes.
So we meet Ashley, who's a 16-year-old foster kid. She's found in the bushes. She was attacked. It was not the old man with the machete.
No.
Who's trying to look for squirrels and
Squirrels and
chipmunks,
vermin.
whatever.
All the vermin.
So I gotta kill the creatures.
Well, and you knew right off the bat, like, I'm sorry, it's not him,
No,
obviously.
of course it's not him. That's what I'm saying. Classic SVU, where is it the first one? It's never the first one. Is it the second one? It could really be this guy. Okay, so so good. All right, so we get her in the ambulance, and Olivia's in the ambulance with her, and she starts fighting off Olivia, and he goes, "I've never seen a rape victim attack a cop. Neither have I." Yes, you have. I feel like you freaking have.
See, I think this episode is excellent, and I loved it. It was so intense and like just great to watch. But one of the things I do feel like with that, like, oh, this has never happened before. Yeah, I agree. I'm sure you probably have. Like, they're not always like, you're the police, I love you, you know. And also like when we get, well, I'll save it for when we get there. Okay,
so
anyway.
she's in the ambulance. I got so annoyed because she starts like grabbing at things and throwing.
Like tearing everything down and just
It's like an Adam Sandler movie. Like, I need to throw a tantrum.
And it reminded me kind of in Old School when Will Ferrell gets shot with the tranquilizer dart and he's like knocking everything over. Like, and you're like, where am I? And then he's like, that's just like that.
I think Mariska seems. Maybe it's because so much has happened since this season that coming from the future, watching this episode, I felt like she seemed so green.
Yes. She felt so good. I ended the call from your mother.
Thank you.
So, no, she was so great, and so just seeing her made me so
saying
happy.
that though, and this is what I was gonna kind of start saying. I agree with you. You know, she's been an officer, a detective for a long time, you know, but so I feel like she was so shocked by all the things that were happening in prison. And yes, like obviously nearly getting raped and killed in the process, all that, like, and actually going behind bars and doing it yourself, that's a very different experience than being like on the other side of it. But I do feel like it was like so shocking to her.
Okay, so
many
here's
of the things.
here's what I was thinking about.
What happens?
So because they were recently on, I had recently seen the ones where she was undercover in Oregon, and I remember watching those, and she was supposed to be a like a tree hugger protester-y undercover with like a nature environmental group who may or may not have been terrorists. So what in that episode, which also was mirrored in this episode,
that one was more recent though, right?
No, this is like before this.
Yeah, it's before this episode.
Oh, my timeline.
They even called it out in this one.
Yes.
They even mentioned
Oh
it.
yeah.
Said you were with tree huggers, not criminals.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gosh, Lauren.
Sorry.
So anyway, so in that episode, seeing her unable to not be a policeman, right? She like is going and investigating things when she shouldn't be. And so here, seeing her again, it's like she just got back from not being allowed to be a policeman to being a policeman to not being a policeman. And I think that's why it came off as her being so shocked, is because she's
so powerless.
Yeah, she like went
She
from,
wanted to be, though. She volunteered.
yeah, but I think she forgets how when the guy pats her down in jail, right? And she just on instinct,
She's like, you can't, like,
That's
like,
true.
and
you know.
grabs his arm and pins it behind him like she would any perp. It's her instinct. And I
Right.
think that's what she forgot. And that's why she has that naivety in her face. That's my belief, because Mariska is amazing.
Oh, she was, that last scene.
Wait, we'll get there.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
ready.
Oh,
I'm not
All
ready.
right, taking it back.
Thank
taking
you.
it back. Let me just take a few steps here.
Okay. All right, so we meet Uncle Rick, who really does love her and wasn't abusing her. And Uncle Rick...
I love when like Mariska walks in, Benson comes in, and then he's
in the
like,
shower.
I'm here, babe. I have soap in my ear, because to explain to the audience, well, why would he not recognize that person's voice?
Yeah.
Love that that was followed up very quickly.
I also like that Stabler was like, me too.
Yeah.
I miss him so much. I miss Stabler.
Yeah, it was nice to see them all together. Actually, just to see everybody's dynamic,
Yeah.
and to have Benson kind of not be in a position of power that we're so used to now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems so much wiser and
And like you said, having multiple instances where she is used to being able to assert her power, her strength, her control over the situation, and change it and get out of that crappy situation. But here it's like, oh yeah, you can try that, but like 5 other guards, and we're like the good guys in this, are gonna shut you down.
Yeah. Finn's gonna hit you.
Yeah.
But we're not even there yet. We're still with Uncle Rick, who Child Services took Ashley away from him because he was found in bed with her, naked.
that is weird though. And then she's like, well,
We're
why do you guys,
sleeping. Why are you guys seeing it that way?
yeah, why do you guys have to make it about sex?
Okay.
I'm like, huh.
So this reminds me of another episode, obviously, and it's the episode with the 2 moms and the little girl and the Catholic school. And so the little girl's grandparents wanted her removed from her second mother's, 'cause they're lesbians, second mother's house, because they thought that she was molesting her, because there were pictures of her naked, because they wanted to help her be more confident with her body. So I agree that, like, yes, taking naked photos of a child is not okay. But, like, who here doesn't have photos of them as a child in the bath? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing parents do, I assume. I don't have kids. Gross. But then also, like, when you're scared, who here hasn't gotten in bed with their parents?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were probably clothed.
Last week.
Right, but I
kidding.
believe it. But your
my
brother
gosh.
walks around in his underwear all the time.
Yeah, and lives with me.
Right. My brothers also walked around in their underwear. So did
that's
my
I walk around in
But
my
that's
underwear.
not-
Not like, I'm wearing the equivalent of a bathing suit. No big deal.
No, but like my family, maybe it's because we're foreigners, like walk around in our underwear all the time.
The underwear to me isn't naked. When I'm thinking naked, I'm thinking like full nudity.
Right.
Right,
So
I'm not
I
walking
assume-
around naked in front of my
So
family
I
members.
assume that she was sleeping, she got scared and got in bed with him. He was not planning for her to get into the bed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And then
Though
and
I
then the
also wouldn't,
child-
if I was scared and like wanted to crawl in bed with one of my relatives, I would put more pajamas on than just like underwear.
right,
Obviously.
but also she was younger,
She's a little kid,
a lot younger. She
But
was
then
a
the
child.
social
worker.
I was going to
Shut
say
up.
social security worker.
Yeah.
The social
Similar. Social worker showed up. But like, there are some holes in the story. I'm just saying
Lots of holes.
it's also possible that there was nothing happening.
I would have found it more believable had she said like, oh, well, the social worker claimed that he was naked, but he really wasn't.
Yeah.
To make it so that they could take me away.
Right.
That to me would have been much more believable than this story with all these holes. Like, oh, she was scared when she was a kid, and then she ran into the bed while he's naked. It's like,
That does happen. Anyway. I don't know why I'm defending him. I don't know. I don't know what happened, guys. Anyway, so then we find out that Uncle Rick and Ashley are fully aware of who is involved, that it's clearly the prison officers, that it's the prison guard. They're supplying the pot. There's this whole transaction-y thing happening, and this is the message that was being sent. So it's not even a, like, who done it. It's a which one of them did it.
Yeah.
We know who did it.
This feels so familiar to the one with the guy from Raymond.
Oh, with the prison guard at the end?
It's very
Yeah, it
recent.
was the season finale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the finale.
Season finale of season 17. Which we will not spoil.
Oh, are we pretending like that has never happened?
No, but in case somebody's watching these in order for
They
some
aren't.
reason.
No one's watching
No
these and
way.
waiting
Definitely
years,
not.
and then they're like, "Oh, great," because we didn't do like the first.
Go.
Yeah.
Just go.
So the corrections officer, he stalked
Yeah.
the inmate after like she was out of jail, and I felt like this is something exactly in this episode.
I want to say that's why we were asked to do this episode, because of the finale.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
Also, Mariska was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so we find out that it was the prison guard who had raped Ashley when his pipeline dried up. They do the rape kit. They lose the rape kit because he is smart, which shocking. And then we end up we find out that it's at Sealview Prison. Stabler goes undercover as a lawyer. He looked so good in that suit, right?
I don't know. It's a outdated looking suit now. I get the
Not
idea.
really my type.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
He's not my type either.
Oh, Shaft said, "Please don't spoil." I hope you didn't hear it just now. Then, and hey, Randy, whose real name is Khalees or Kellys,
Okay.
and Sadia in the chat. Sorry, detour.
Good job. Okay. See, we shouldn't spoil things. All right. So we get this thing called the Prison Rape Elimination Act, which we'll talk about later. And we then send Olivia undercover. Olivia undercover as Katrina Ray Lewis. She started using at age 13. She was a mule to support her habit. She's addicted to prescription drugs, but won't say no to the hard
This was
stuff.
the Wong's
Yeah, I wrote it down.
VO.
She's a hardcore addict, not a recreational user. And she's facing withdrawals. She had an abusive father and husband. She's a target for abuse. She's every man's punching bag.
Sounds like a character's breakdown for
Yeah.
a
I
casting.
almost didn't. Yeah, right.
Yep.
I almost didn't I feel like she could have been a little harder. You know, like more of that. We didn't see a ton of like her as
So my
druggy.
problem with putting her in as someone going through withdrawal is that she has to go through withdrawal.
Yeah, she needs to show those physical.
Yeah, they're
symptoms,
physical symptoms.
you know?
But also she was like, he said to her, you need to get a fix as soon as you get in. That's
Right.
what you need.
Well, that's the end to get plugged into
But
the
the
whole
thing
thing.
is, if you're not going through withdrawal and you get a fix, then what? Now you're gonna get high. Now you're starting a cycle
I don't
of
think
drugs.
it's not like she would have actually taken the fix. You know, she'd been pretend to take the
Don't
fix.
you watch shows about people undercover? They always have to take it to prove that they're not a cop.
Yeah, but this is
But
all...
not once you're in jail. I feel like that's pretty much the.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
You're good.
Yeah.
I'm not a cop.
Yeah.
Minor detail.
They actually had her so that she didn't wear any makeup for this one.
Really?
Yeah, so for the entire part of her being in prison, they had her specifically not wear any perfumes or makeup.
Aside from when she's standing in the shower in the beginning, because she was definitely wearing makeup.
Yeah,
I
maybe
remember
after
watching
that.
it. I remember watching it and going, how is her makeup not smearing? I can see that it wants to. So we give her a cavity search and a shower. Oh, it was pre-baby. That was her pre-baby body. Anyway.
In real life.
Yeah. That was Mariska's
obviously.
pre-baby body.
So it looks like the same body. I mean, not...
It's a little different. Is no one paying attention to her body?
Yeah, but it's been what, 6-7 years?
This was
10
2008?
years? I don't know how to do math.
What year is it?
Looks like she
I don't
got her
know.
body back to me.
No, her body looks great. It's just a different. Anyway, thank you. So she has the pat down, which she then, reacts. Finn beats her because he's also undercover.
But I would want if you're gonna get beat up.
Yeah.
I would want it to be your partner who's also undercover, who's
Right.
not going to hit you as hard as
Right.
the other guys. you know?
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
But like seeing their...
And hit you where it's not going to like bust something.
Yeah.
He hit her back, no?
He hit her arm because her arm was bleeding. And then they put a Band-Aid on it. Prison.
You know, even though I watched this episode, that moment that they revealed, oh my gosh, the other CEO is Finn, I still caught myself surprised, actually. I was like,
because you see throughout this whole plot that just her and him, like, they're making eye contact where he's checking in on her, but he's also reminding her, like, stop asserting power. You're just gonna get hurt. Yeah, and it's so hard to see.
Liv.
It's so hard to see them as friends, and him being like, I don't want to hurt you. Look what you made me do. All right. Too far? Okay. Anyway, so Kat is jonesing and she meets Sean, and Sean teaches her that you got a flat back to get the stuff. It took me a second. I went, flat? Oh, I got it.
Oh, yeah, now I get it too.
Flat back.
Yeah, physically imagine that word.
Yep. And you got to show off the merchandise.
Like, as if people there really make their shirts into these little crop tops.
Yeah, that was so funny. I mean, I don't know. Orange is the New Black.
It also looked silly on
it looked really silly.
I don't think they do that. I don't think.
Go visit a prison. Find out. That's your summer.
I mean, I think it depends how, like, you know, well, I mean, obviously Orange is the New Black is also a TV show, and but they do have like real people who've been in prison. You know, they make it accurate enough, I guess. And this is coming from somebody who's never been in prison or anything like that.
Yet.
But you know, if yeah, right. Yeah, but like, depending on the security level of
Daddy's
the prison.
A cop.
Depending on the security level of the prison, you know, there's more leniency with like being able to kind of
show off your fashion style.
Adjust your uniform.
Right. That's true. The fact that the uniform was like buttons, I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
All right. So Risa, Ashley's mother, commits suicide, air quotes on that. And Warner finds a lot of reasons to like point out that it's not a suicide. I loved the explanation of the knot.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always learning something new. And the right-handed, it's gonna be
on your right side. Yeah, but it was straight back, which means it wasn't real. Yeah. All right, so the the cop that we think that it's going to be is CO Matthew Parker. He's 36 years old, 16 subscriptions to hardcore porn sites. Oh my God. I like that Craig goes, who needs all that? So I went, 16. It's a lot of money to be spending when there's so much free porn.
Yeah.
Well, it was a different time. How about that?
There was still free porn.
Internet, yeah.
Anyway, there were sites. It wasn't like magazines. It was what? Yeah. Anyway. 6 years, 9 prisons, all women's prisons. Now, this actor, whose name I can't for the life of me remember.
Oh, his name is something funny.
Great.
Todd Stashwick.
Yep.
Get out.
Correct.
Like mustache, because he had yes.
He always plays a bad guy in everything, and sci-fi fans know him from pretty much every sci-fi show. But like, I remember seeing this the first time and being like, all right, well, it's obviously him because I know that he's always the bad guy.
Yeah. What was he in recently?
12 Monkeys.
Okay.
If you watch sci-fi. Anyway, so there's a TB outbreak. CDC locks down the prison. The prisoners demand answers. There's a little riot. And Captain Harris is going to take Katrina, Kat, a.k.a. Olivia Undercover, to the hole. And then we get to the scariest part of the whole episode.
I can't believe there were mattresses stacked there.
Yeah, I know. Also, they were surprisingly clean.
No, they were grimy.
Yeah, I expected them to be worse. We've seen worse mattresses on this show. I also felt like this episode would have been great for a live read. But anyway, so Captain Harris throws her on the mattress, which felt like an unnecessary move because then he picks her up and pushes her against the wall. And I was like, pick one, sir. Choose. Yeah, like, how are you going to do this? So he begins trying to assault her, and she fights back, and she's shouting.
Wow, her shouts were...
They felt real.
They felt so real. and both of them, that whole sequence,
it was so intense.
It felt very real.
It felt so difficult to watch.
Yeah.
And I've seen this episode before. I've seen it many times. I just didn't remember feeling so much while watching it.
You know what it is? I also think it's like the level of her voice is different. It's like, you know how, not to compare.
It's like a panic. Yeah, she's panicking.
It's a different like level of voice that you never hear from her. Like, you know how cats, they put on a different voice when they're like freaking out?
Yes.
It's like that, and you're kind of like alarmed by it because you're like, okay, this is an unusual here. And so I almost wanted to like reach out into the TV, but like, let me help you.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
It was so hard. So she's screaming, please don't, and help. He unhandcuffs her, which I was like, what are you, stupid? Like, what kind of idiot? Anyway, so she elbows him in the nose because she's a cop and she's badass. And she runs and hides, and he finds her and he cuffs her to the door, and he says, if you bite me, you're dead. And seeing her face up close while hearing and seeing the side of him while he's undoing his pants is horrific.
Yeah.
And Finn luckily comes in last minute.
Oh man, yeah.
You know, I was thinking not just the fact that the rape would be absolutely horrendous, but the fact I was thinking TB. Because the moment that anything gets, I was like, no, you don't want to be infected. That I was like actually really scared of her catching TB. And the rape, of course. But that was kind of on my mind.
Getting all that stuff that's been going around for sure.
Yeah. So they arrest him, and Olivia, he goes, you're a cop. And she goes, who's the bitch now?
Yeah.
And all I could think was, she just went through a traumatic experience, and there's no way that, like, she had that, like, line ready.
One-liner ready.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we find out that he's been a CO for 17 years in 11 prisons, and he gets almost away with it. Luckily, Ashley can identify his penis. That's right. Identified by penis. And then we find out from Warner. She goes, Olivia, how did you know that it was there? And Olivia says, it's the closest I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
And that is terrifying.
Yeah.
That is the episode of Undercover. We have so much more to talk about still. So much more to talk about. Let's turn that sound off. How dare you? But real quick, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone live in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, go to iTunes, rate and review. All summer we're doing old episodes that you've asked for. So we're still reading reviews on the air. So do that. Okay, Isabelle. It's time for Isabelle Info Corner.
Yes. So I found actually a story that goes parallel with this episode, despite the fact that this episode has been a while. So there's an ongoing federal lawsuit with New York City's Department of Corrections right now, alleging that the female inmates at Rikers, of all places, are being routinely raped by the correction officers. And one inmate specifically said that one of the CEOs ordered her into a closet-sized room surrounded by safety glass. He padlocks the door and then rapes her. And so she was so terrified that she waited for 2 weeks to even report anything because she was afraid of retaliation. And she sent her clothes to relatives outside of the prison to test DNA. And the reason why she did that was because she was raped prior to this by a different officer who forced oral on her. But the authorities said that they didn't believe her because of lack of DNA.
Oh.
Which I think is kind of crazy, the fact that she had to use that experience to like be like, okay, how can I, because can you imagine if that happened to you and they told you, unfortunately, there's a lack of DNA. You're like, I'm in prison. What can I do?
Right.
I have a lack of resources.
Yeah.
What the hell? And the fact is like, okay, you know what? The next time this happens, I'm ready.
Like, that's awful, though, that she has to think the next time this happens.
Totally.
Right.
Which will take us to the Prisoner Rape Elimination Act of 2003. So it's the first U.S. federal law passed dealing with the sexual assault of prisoners. So it is, according to the episode, it was all reports have to be made now.
Yeah.
If a statement is ever made, they have to report it.
I wonder, though, because the reason why they have that in place was because a lot of those cases were underreported in the first place.
Yeah.
So how does one know if something is being underreported? Like, how do you keep that in account?
Like when people get out, maybe, or,
It's something that happens that no one talks about, like most rape.
Yeah.
Lauren, you had something you wanted to share today.
I do have an interesting thing to share. So, and this was from just this last spring. So in March, A&E did a show called 60 Days In, which is a 12-part series that featured 7 innocent volunteers who went undercover for 60 days as inmates in Clark County Jail in Jeffersonville, Indiana.
What?
Yes.
This sounds like it's illegal to me.
So the sheriff, what was his name? Sheriff Jamie Knoll, he pretty much came up with this idea because they were having problems and they needed to take quick control of it. So they found like volunteers to help them identify like critical issues going on and filmed it. So like that's like such an interesting, I mean that's crazy, but such an interesting like way to problem solve like from the sheriff's perspective.
How do you film it without the people noticing?
I don't know. They
or body cameras probably. But like here's my question, who would volunteer for that?
Right? That's nuts.
No.
So it aired in the beginning of March 2016 and was on A&E and had 12 episodes. So you can't, or 13 because there was like a epilogue.
How was it received by people? Like did audiences?
You're getting too ahead of me. I don't know.
I don't know. How dare you ask questions?
Because to me that
but yeah, you can watch it. Oh, let's see.
Doesn't sound like a documentary style. It sounds very reality-like to me.
Yeah, but I assume that it was then done in a documentary style because it had to be.
Seems so unethical.
Well, my internet isn't really working, but Variety.com has a review of it.
And you will post
I'll
it
tweet
on
about
Twitter.
it too.
Cool. So I want to, before we run out of time, I want to give everyone the schedule for summer for those who may not have
let's hear it.
Yes. So today we're doing Undercover. And if I could get this to pull up, I could tell you that next week we're doing PC, which is the episode with Kathy Griffin, and we will be having 2 guest hosts on the show, 2 SVU fans. It's not, I can't get my graphic to come up, but I have it. Wait, I have it on my computer, so I don't even need the internet. Boom. Okay. So we're doing PC next week. Come on. I just talked about how great you are. Come on.
Yeah, we're like in a...
Okay. So that's season 11, episode 13, PC on July 14th. We're not doing an episode on the 21st because we'll be at Comic-Con.
Woo!
Yeah. And July 28th, we'll be back with season 12, episode 5, Wet, which was a great episode. Also a great title. August 4th, season 5, episode 15, Families. Staying in season 5, August 11th, we'll be doing 525, which is the season finale of that season, called Head. Fun fact about that episode, that is the episode that made me always check public toilets for cameras.
Oh my.
Oh, no.
Yep, that episode terrified me. August 11th, sorry, I'm after that. August 18th, season 10, episode 6, Babes. And August 25th, we will be doing season 2, episode 9, Pixies. That is our summer rundown.
I love how these are all one-worded titles. Like
They used to be.
They used to be like that, and now they're like just 2.
Yeah.
Like
they
they're
used to be just.
All right, we've run out of one words. Let's get
let's
up
up
it.
the game now.
It also used to be that the episode was relevant but wasn't clear, right? So like Pixies was about gymnasts. And Babes is about teenage girls getting pregnant.
Okay, one of the titles I remember though, Decayed Mortality.
Yeah, but that
Decaying Morality.
Decaying Morality.
That's a more recent one.
Yeah, it could have just been Decay.
It could have.
Could have, but they're like driving it.
Yeah,
home
they're
a
driving it
little
home
more.
now.
Make
it more obvious.
for us.
Well, I mean, we started the summer with season 16, episode 19, Granting Immunity. So 2 episodes, 2 titles.
Yes. Well, and they're always like double meaning.
Right.
Now.
They used to just be words that you went, I don't see why this is relevant. But it was. It was relevant when you think about it. So good. So that's our summer schedule. We're letting you know now because we want you to be with us all summer.
Yeah.
So next week, July 14th, season 11, episode 13, PC, and 2 guest hosts. And then we're going to take, after August, we're going to take a break till the season comes back. Yeah?
End of September.
Yeah, end of September, September
Love it.
21st.
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
Some peeps in the chat, Steven just said, who's one of our regulars, and I know there are a bunch of you regulars in here. He said, OMG, I just realized we had this, and the first thing I hear is ... penis. ...
A true fan indeed.
Yeah, because that's how they identified him, by his penis.
The mole on his penis.
On his penis.
You can have a mole on your penis?
Yeah, absolutely.
You could have a mole anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I just haven't seen
Isabelle?
enough penises.
You could have a mole anywhere. It could have been his nose.
Yeah, sure. Moles can be anywhere. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us. On that note, Isabelle, do tell people where they can find you.
You guys can find me everywhere at Isabelle Do, and make sure to go jetsetmag.com. I'm gonna cover model search, type in Isabelle Do, and click to vote every day.
It's free.
Do it. Vote
free.
for her.
Yeah.
Do it. Hey guys, Lauren Salaun here. Please go find me on Snapchat and Instagram at Lauren Salaun. That's LAUREN SALAUN.
You're so excited.
Thanks. I can spell my name.
Yay. You can find me everywhere at Yael Tyiel. That's YAEL2YGIEL. I also have a podcast. It's called Intimate Interrogations. It's sometimes filthy, sometimes not. And it's free. It's free on iTunes.
It's always great.
Not always.
Oh.
Okay.
Sell it hard.
Yeah. We'll be back next week for more Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Bye, guys.
See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dun dun.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.